Hello everybody, Andy here from Glass Half Dead, the #1 Kill Team Glazer channel on the internet. Unless of course you are aware of any other channel that talks about Kill Team. Anyway, today I wanted to talk to you about the 5 best things about Kill Team. Now, this is purely mechanical. This is purely the game on the table. I'm not going to be talking about the lore, the hobby, the painting, all that other side. And you might ask, why is that? Surely those are some of the best things. Well, thanks for asking. The reason I'm not going to talk about those is because they're great, aren't they? But they're not Kill Team. I'm talking about Kill Team exclusive things. And unfortunately for Kill Team, it doesn't get to own any of those things because 40k, the significantly larger, more successful game, already owns those. If you want quality lore and quality painting and all of that stuff, you go to 40k channels, not Kill Team channels, right? Cool. So that means inevitably we have to talk mechanics. This also may explain to you why there aren't any Kill Team lore channels or Kill Team exclusive hobby channels, because you don't need it, because you can do that, but do it about 40k, which will just get you more views. So there you go. So let's talk Kill Team exclusive and therefore mechanics. Look, why this video? It's a weird one. I'm not normally this positive. That's true. I'm not a positive person. However, I recently did a series of shorts and reels on Instagram, which was like gotchas. It was and upcoming, all of my how to play videos are called gotcha guides. And I like to have a good moan. The thing is, I like to do that. I'm naturally a very dour man. But I do like Kill Team. But a lot of people see this content, they see that I've put, oh, this guy clearly puts hours and hours of his effort into doing this, but he talked very negatively about it. I do, because that's who I am. But it's the game I play the most. I don't think I've played any other game more than I've played Kill Team for the last, 4 years. So I thought, let's do an overtly positive video. Right, what are the 5 best Kill Team mechanics? And please, hey, drop a comment. Let me know what your best thing is. Drop the comment now, before I say mine, with yours. There you go. And then at the end, let's compare notes. Okay, so the first one isn't a real one. The first one is a bonus, but it does count as one of the 5 because 5 sounds better than 4 when you're doing a thumbnail and a title. So my bad. Right, easy, alternating activations. There you go. The reason this is a bonus one and doesn't count is because this is industry standard for a skirmish game. In fact, I cannot even tell you a skirmish game that doesn't use alternating activations. Cool, there you go. Good stuff. Part of the whole point of skirmish games is a constant back and forth, and it's that level of interaction. It is just how games are. Nice. This is only thrown in there because, of course, GW, their big games, 40k, Age of Sigmar, the only 2 games that are bigger than Kill Team at the moment, don't use it. So if you are currently into, let's say you've just gotten into Spearhead or Combat Patrol and you're going into those different systems, alternating activations is generally considered to be more fun. There you go. Or more interactive, and of course people tend to like interaction on the board. So, doesn't count, but it had to be said. Also, I suppose, I don't think that a game requires and demands alternating activations to be good. I think you don't have to just go, I do a thing, you do a thing, I do a thing, you do a thing. I think there are other ways to have a good game. Anyway, not the point, that's not what this is about. Right. Okay, onto the 4 real ones. The real ones, the OGs. And I'm going to start with actually a new feature with 3rd edition, 2024 edition Kill Team, that I think perhaps a lot of people may have overlooked. I think it's really, really good. It's a new edition. What could it be? It is the primary op. Yeah. So I think that the primary op is a really cool addition purely because it allows you to play the game you want to play. They needed to add it in because they also added in the kill op. Now you can play points, you can play the way you want to play with tac ops, or you can play kill. And that's really cool. However, to balance out the fact that naturally some teams are good at one thing and some teams are good at another thing, and therefore those teams would naturally win if you were all even across the board. You can say, I want my team to win in this way. I think that's really cool. I think it adds another layer of player agency to the game in a very similar way, and additionally it's a hidden mechanic in the sense of you literally keep it secret. The final thing you do in the game is flip over your primary op. That's really fun. Not only do you get to win the way you want to win, you also get to do it as a fun reveal. Very cool. Okay, nothing else from the new edition is good. Obviously, it's primarily the same edition as second, 2021. So let's get into the core rules now. Well, that was a core rule, but anyway. Right, where should we start? Let's start with a basic one. Let's start with one that maybe you don't consider as like a different mechanic. These three, well, and the primary op actually, I'm just taking a step back and continuing to say what's the point of this video. I play a lot of games. I like mechanics. I like exploring these things. I enjoy playing different games and seeing what's out there. Every time I play a game that doesn't have these four things, I like it less. I find myself thinking, oh man, I really wish this game did this, because they're so good. Okay? I just wanted to put that out there. I needed to say, yeah, when I play a game without these mechanics, I legit miss them. That's how you know they're really good. Okay, it's a melee system. So the melee system, when I started playing Kill Team, was confusing to me. Not confusing as in like I didn't get it. I didn't understand if it was good. I was like, well, don't you just kind of, you hit and you die, you kill in two, right? Like that's pretty much how the game works. If you're two, unless one's a horde and one's an elite, basically you have to hit twice and then you win. That's pretty much how the profiles work out. And I'm not saying that this is the best possible implementation of this specific melee system, but it's good enough that if there's any other melee system, I'm like, oh, wish we had that crunchy interaction from Kill Team. But I'm sure it could be done better. But as like a starter for 10, I think it's really, really solid. You know, I'd love to see other systems build off of it. Perhaps when Warcry gets a reboot, they want to add a bit of crunch. This is the system to use. Anyway, yeah, I just think it's really good. The fact that there are multiple options to most like ways that things play out. When you go in, you roll your dice and you then have to kind of rapidly change what you were thinking of doing depending on luck. We are playing a dice game. Seeing what happens is really fun. And generally, yeah, you're going to hit twice and you kill them. And because you charge, you get that kill. But sometimes you'll go in, you don't get the dice you want, you're like, okay, I've got to parry out. And then you've got to do some dice maths. And it is actually genuinely, I think, a really good game system there, the melee system. It's also possibly the system, apart from line of sight, that I've seen misplayed the most. So a lot of people, perhaps a touch more casual, that don't get into Kill Team to the level of, I'm going to go watch YouTube videos about how to play this. I've seen them misplay it as, I roll my dice, you roll your dice. You decide what you're doing first. Let's say you hit, and then I block, and I get to block your dice. And then it's back to you. You decide to hit, I block your dice. And it ends up, no damage is taken. And I think, if you play it that way, it is a terrible, terrible dice system. There you go. That is not how the game's meant to work. It's meant to be super lethal. It's meant to be showing that. Now, thematically, this does obviously become a little bit... How do you have a regular dude, a regular cult member, hurt a custode? Not the point. But, yeah, I think the melee system is genuinely really good, and I'd love to see GW take that and add it to other games they have. Really strong. Let's talk about... So this is the basic one. APL. Action Point Limit. So I've played quite a few skirmish games, right? I've played a whole load, and one thing that most games don't do is make one particular faction or model per se inherently stronger, okay? They will often have, you know, for example, most skirmish games allow you to do 2 actions. That's it. Everybody gets to do 2 actions. Cool. Now you might be able to have a very strong ability that you can do as your first or second action, but you still just have 2 actions. And perhaps you have some command dice or something, and you can spend a command dice to do a 3rd action, but that can be done with any model. Honestly, I love the APL system. Again, I'm not saying this is the best possible way to work this out. In fact, I would probably like a slightly higher range of APL instead of just 2 and 3. I'd love to see 4 back in the game. Well, we technically do have 4, but maybe it should scale from 2 to 5, you know? Like have fewer models on the board, but allow us to have 6 APL models, something like that. Again, if we're thinking about Warcry's a dead game and they're going to bring it back, what should they add to the system? Not just melee, because it's a melee game, but give us some APL. Let's see that Chaos Legionary move, or, you know, do 6 actions, but there's only 3 of them on the board. And then the crappy little grot, well, 2 actions, but there's 20, right? I'd love to see that. I'd love to see them play with higher, different pools. Different pool sizes. So yeah, there you go. APL, it's such a small thing, but it's so core and fundamental to how the game plays. And we can really feel the power of a strong team just because they have APL 3, right? You think about your regular Deathcore, he's not actually that much weaker than an Aspect Warrior. Except the Aspect Warrior has 3 APL. That's huge, and it changes everything. There you go. So APL, again, to clarify, sorry, I don't mean the fact that everybody can do 2 actions. I mean the fact that some models basically have 3rd actions. Give us that in other systems and don't lose it from Kill Team. It's fundamental. Never before has a Marine felt so powerful than in Kill Team. Go play Marines in 40k. They feel like any other army, but they maybe roll some more dice with 5 dudes. They don't feel like Marines, genuinely. And Custodians don't feel like Custodians, but they do in Kill Team. It's great. Finally, I think we all know this one's coming, but look, this is probably the most controversial pick, I suppose, because it gets mistaken so easily, and it has to be the order system. And of course the order system is good because it interacts with line of sight. Specifically, I like the orders, not the line of sight, but they are so interlinked, and Kill Team isn't Kill Team without the line of sight system. But the order system specifically, I love the order system. It allows you to play the way you want to play. And it's what makes the game work to be as lethal and therefore impactful and emotional as it is. If you remove the order system and you play it in perhaps another way, then, I don't know, the game just doesn't have that impact. We'd have to go back to something like the old injury system where, oh, you've been shot a lot. Okay, well, do you die 50-50, let's roll a dice? It's like, well, that's not a good system, right? But I'll tell you this, multiple games have done it that way. Likewise, multiple games have just done it as, if you get hit, you're taken off the board. Now, those games may end up being faster games, more casual, friendly games, which is great as well. But the order system allows the game to be lethal and still impactful, and you can play the way you want to play. I think that's kind of the key with both the order system and the primary op. They allow you to play the way you want to play. You want to have a guy stood at the back of the board doing nothing? Tapping points? Dropping objectives? Great, he can do that. And then it's up to the enemy to come out and get him. The enemy, in another game, would just say, oh, I'm going to shoot you. And you'll say, yeah, you can. Cool. Great. But the order system stops that. Now, is the line of sight system off the back of the order system the best? No, it's not. Simply put, it isn't. But that's fine. It is what it is. As I said, this is about the 5 best things for Kill Team, and the order system genuinely is one of them. And yes, it interacts with the line of sight system, with the shooting system, because ultimately Kill Team is a shooting game. Do they need to work out a few of those niggles still? Yes, they do. But there you go. Cool, that's it. I just wanted to do a really quick kind of, hey, Kill Team's pretty good, did you know? So that is alternating actions, but we don't count that one, just to clarify. But it has to be said. Melee system, APL, order system, primary op. Okay, at the end of the video, let me know what yours are. Because maybe that's not everything in the game that's awesome sauce. I don't know. Let me know what your hot sauce is. You know, drop it in the comments. Slather it all over me. Don't know where I've gone with this one, to be honest. Yeah, bye.